end up bastardizing the integrity of that institutions and end up probably becoming the next government. We must be careful. And the attempt by the New Patriotic Party to create some... Look at even the issue of the validation. The 14-point recommendation given by the VC Clubs Committee never mentioned the issues of validation. They started with it. They actually formed their own opinion and then started running with it, creating an impression that the EC committee recommended so and so, and the EC is refusing to actually adhere to their committee's own recommendation, which is completely falsehood. And that is where I agree with the comment by Sheikh Isiku. He said you should give the devil a long rope so that it entangle himself. We waited for the MPP to run around with it, only for the truth to actually come out that it is not true that the committee actually recommended issues of validation. So what is the objective? Is this not also even equally a threat to our stability and security? So we sit here and we are saying that when you mention something, somebody wants to tell you that you tell a lie. So basically, I think that Kodio as a stakeholder in electionary issues must come again. I really don't understand.
So for you, you think that the EC has stated its position on this bloated register?
Certainly.
It is clear.
Certainly. And I'm saying that anybody who understands the processes of election in our country, it will be difficult for any political party to be able to rig an election in our country today, unless actually you slip over your own work. And I have no doubt in mind why the MPP is doing what they are doing, because they slept over their own responsibility. Let them train their men and let the men be up and doing. They should not go to the polling stations whilst they are expected to do what is expected of them. They will not do and then turn around to accuse other people. That is not fair.
All right, I'm grateful. Nana, Kodio's concern is the one EC to come out clearly to say that, right, this is the bloated register agreed on by almost every stakeholder, and that this date we're doing ABC, this date we're doing E and E, so that then we know that at this point we'll either clean the register or we're not. Their concern is that there's no clear-cut statement on what the EC wants to do about the bloated register.
Right. Just one sentence about the previous issue before. One of the questionable things about our security system is the interest of the president and his government in creating a security situation around Nana Akufo-Addo. There's a major flaw in their management of security. On this matter,
they are creating the situation.
They created it. How do you go and arrest people who've come to work in Ghana with their visa, with the authority? You take them to court. You imprison them against our laws, which you by our constitution, which you swore on. And I always keep saying that when you go and revisit how Mr. Mahama swore on that day, you don't have too many questions about his actions after, because he stumbled on words and so he's acted accordingly. Based on that, you now go and you put them, imprison them against our laws. And then when our courts, which have authority on our legal system, determine something, you go away from what they've decided and do what you want by deporting them. And then when you finish, you think that we should respect how you deal with us? That's a whole issue that Ghanaians must take very seriously. On this particular case, first the logo. I doff my hat to a woman called Kina Likimani. She sort of burst out on this matter when she saw the logo at the event that the EC held. And it makes it's good to know that there are citizens out there who take some of these things very serious. This logo is not the kind of thing that you present as EC. One. Two, more importantly, is this the most important thing in this year? To change your logo is the most important thing for the Electoral Commission of Ghana in an election year. It beats one's mind. It is the most important.
Is that what the EC said, or you are asking questions?
Yes, I'm asking.
Okay,
where does it come up as a list of priorities in an election year? The issue about Kodeo falls above.
But do they not need the logo on the ballot sheets and all the things they're going to do for the election?
I mean, when we're going to vote,
they do.
So if
the
that
logo
is the
should be
case,
somewhere.
Exactly. So if that is the case,
the logo
so if that is the case, they want to do it before the election.
Yeah.
That's what I understand it.
Yeah. Right. And the logo should be somewhere on the ballot.
Yes.
And even on the notice of polls.
Exactly. And even on the box, the ballot.
And is it the most important thing? Where's the value in all this at this time? And I'm told, what was the last logo like? What did it do to your vote? It matters because I'm a PR person. I appreciate all those things. It's very important. Those things are all very important. But in the scheme of things, the time and money spent on it, what's the value to us? And I'm told that they've got some grants from the USAID or something, so they're caught up in those things. When there are issues of security, issues of voting, appreciation of the voting process, everything that's come up, that's to do with these things. NPP raises issues about our register. All those things, their points of view. Those are the things you think you'd want to deal with, not the arrogant posture of the commission and the commissioner. It just beats one's mind. This logo thing, for me, is a shame also that we have great artists in this country. I don't know where they got this logo from, but there's nothing Ghanaian oriented about this logo. There's nothing in there that makes you feel like this is a Ghanaian piece. There are real serious artists out there who can give you something that makes you know that this is for Ghana. Having said that, on this matter of Kodeo says, if those issues were not outstanding, would they state them? If they were not matters of concern to the Ghanaian public, would they be stated? Why? Kodeo's interest in this is to help us all appreciate that an election is an important process and we should take it serious. So why would they not want to raise issues if those issues exist? That's one. Two, my brother Ali keeps confirming to my mind that these NDC brothers and sisters of mine have a totally different notion about what democracy is about and the value of expressing yourself and your thoughts. And when you see something is wrong, how you're allowed to say it, whether it's late or on time or too early. That's the sense of freedom. Those are the essences. I think of something, I see TV3. I think if you did it this way to be nice, you tell me, no, this is what our policy is, therefore, why? There's nothing wrong with my expressing myself. People have issues with what is going on. Our destinies are determined by our thumbprint on that ballot box or ballot paper. And you think that people should go by your standards? We should go by conventional standards that we all agree to. And the only way we come to an agreement is when everybody's views are on board. So why should somebody keep quiet about a problem that they have? What are we talking about here? We don't understand this whole democratic process. Is that what you are telling me? Then the next issue is, who is responsible for announcing deaths because I raised that because of what Halidu said. Who's responsible for announcing deaths to the EC? Everybody who knows about it. Like paying your taxes, because nobody is extraordinarily eager to go and pay their taxes. Nobody in the world is extraordinarily eager to go and pay their taxes. In the same way, who will go and find time to walk to the EC and say, oh, as soon as he passed away? Apart from those with an extraordinarily high interest and stake in the matter.
Can people do that when the register is exhibited?
They can, but I'm saying, potentially, is it something that people will just get up and say, hey, today one of my responsibilities is to go and announce to the EC that as soon as he has passed away? It won't happen. So what you want to do is have a system that is run well. Now, Mr. Ali, my brother here, has been in government. I don't know whether he's still directly, but he's been in government for a while. What have they done in their 8 years in office recently to help make the system run such that automatically one institution can inform the other that everything is running well. Asumesi passed away, so please check. Aren't those the things we should be interested in? Systems that help balance out things so that we don't allow human beings who have personal interests to override systems that will affect, that will inure to their benefit. Why can't we have those things? Aren't those the things we should be talking about? So when people raise protests, it's about those issues. The reality also is that I don't know a whole lot about other electoral systems, but I'm told that there isn't an extraordinary interference in the electoral commission's processes in countries where elections run frequently, as we do here. Such that I'm referring to his point about, and the NPP hasn't taken up its responsibility. Why can't we develop a system of trust? All political parties should trust that the Electoral Commission will do its work. So that, yes, your representative will automatically be there, but it's not so deep and so intense and fearful. And why? Why can't we have a system that makes people feel comfortable, that when I register, I'm secure? How is it that we're not able to open the register year-long so people can constantly register as it goes on? Why? Because there's a sense of mistrust. Why can't we have a system that allows me to just walk in an electoral commission in JB, my hometown, and just check to see whether everything is all right? Why? If I want to go and say that Asumesi has passed away, I should be able to go on my leisure time, not when the electoral commission decides. Why? Why can't we do all these things? And you've been in government. Your government has been around for 8 years. Thank God they're wrapping up business. When all these things are up, you should be looking at these. Have you improved the quality of our electoral system with the power that you've been given? Because they were given the power, they were not offered it by Ghanaians. All that, have they done that? So for me, these are the issues. And so when Kodeo now raises these matters, everybody should look at it from the perspective of, is it going to benefit the processes for Ghanaians? The election is about Ghana. It's not about NPP, NDC. It's about Ghana. How we're going to get out of the rut that we find ourselves in, whether it's economic, social, cultural, whatever. All those things we're facing major problems in under this government. How are we going to get out of it? The way Ghanaians are going to express themselves is what the electoral process is about. So we must want to secure it. And it should not be left into the hands of partisanized electoral commission officers or extraordinarily partisan party people, such that they're not thinking about the Ghanaian, but they're thinking about how their party alone should benefit and all that. No. The discussion on the table is ultimately, how is this going to serve that person, man or woman, who's going to vote, such that their vote is secure and will say what they are thinking, the majority, which we've all agreed on, is going to work. So for me, I endorse what Kodeo is saying. The Electoral Commission should be very, very transparent. Look, for all his faults and everything in Dr. Afarajan, he and all the commissioners in his time did what they could. I'm not going to here say they did a bad job or a good job, because that's not the point. The point is that they did what they could. When you're taking over, whether you're government appointing the commissioner or proposing the commissioner, or whether you are the commissioner taking over, what your objective should be is graduate to a higher standard so that Ghanaians feel secure and proud about their electoral process. We don't want to go to court again. That court process was key for me. And I say this with all humility, because trust me, I do not have electoral I don't have legal authority understanding, and I'm not an elections expert. But I say this with all humility and a certain amount of pomposity too. That if I were
that has now covered the humility.
Just to lighten up the discussion. But the point is that we must, the Electoral Commission must want to graduate us from this level of mistrust and all that to a high standard where people just walk in and out confident about our electoral process. That's what, and I'm saying that that's what we should be seeking. Madame Osei and her co-commissioners and everybody and all of us political parties must want that. Why? It's true, I'll go and seek NPP's interests, but is NPP's interest ultimately Ghana's interest? If somewhere in there we find fault with that, we should say so.
Let me ask you this. We're getting ready to wrap up.
It should be about Ghana.
Let me ask you this. How would you react to the concerns of people that political parties seem to mistrust the EC when they are in opposition.
Even when they are in government. Why? The only time that when we went to the last election, Mr. Mahama was president. He was passing comments about what the EC should do when he was voting. You remember?
I do.
Yeah. That was not as... If you trust them, what do you say? Why do you have to make a comment? Why are you throwing suggestions if you trust them? Leave them to do their work. That's the mentality that Ali do put on the table.
Because the NDC, I don't know if the CPP mistrust the EC, but I'm sure the NDC does not mistrust the EC.
If they don't, then we have questions about their relationship with the EC, which we
So
do.
what is it that make opposition parties have that mistrust for the referee in our
I don't know if it's a mistrust for the EC. It is a question about what is being done to make everybody feel secure. Why? When we've won the election, God willing, and by the blessing of God and the guarantee of the Ghanaian people, when Akufo-Addo is president, I doubt that he's going to say that Madam Osei should step down. It is not within his, it's not part of his agenda. It cannot be, it will not be. In fact, when you hear him in his utterances, he does not attack her and say, no, he just throws out suggestions and says this and that. It is not in that. So it isn't about mistrust of the EC, it's about the processes and what should be done so that we have a clean system. That's what we're looking for.
I'm grateful.
But right,
you can have your take now. We're getting ready to
if I may say, it's about mistrust of the party that puts the electoral commissioner in place.
That's an angle, another angle too.
And I keep saying that certain sensitive positions shouldn't be in a political appointment. If it so happened that the electoral commissioner today came through the ranks,
the Public Service Commission.
The Public Service Commission came through. Do you not think all political parties would think alike in how she runs the electoral commission? It is the question of a party in power electing their person. Inverted commas begin and close.
Right.
To head such an establishment. That is the way I see it. And the mistrust between political parties. If it so happened that the president was going to choose, the head of the electoral commission,
Madam Shalom.
At least he goes to the Council of State, isn't it?
Yes.
If there was an opportunity to also get political parties involved, other political parties involved, to discuss who should run that establishment, don't you think it would bring some kind of trust for the Electoral Commission? And when the Electoral Commission also gets in, can we see them act in an independent manner?
Like the Nigerian professor.
In an independent manner, to say whether it was the incumbent president that put me in place or whether I came through the Public Services Commission, I'm doing what is right by Ghanaians. Because that independence Electoral Commission says they have, that independence is an independence where the people are concerned. They are independent to make sure that they serve the people and not serve the political party in power. And so I have questioned, and I continue to question, whether certain positions should be handled by the presidency. One of them is the IGP. Should the IGP be put in place by the ruling government? And we should look at these things. We should open it up to debate. And perhaps by so doing, it will lessen the kind of perception and mistrust we have for institutions like that. Because I don't understand why at any given election there are always question marks somewhere. Why should it be so? And Nana said we shouldn't go back to a court case again. We shouldn't. It shouldn't be something we should do, because that court case caused a lot of challenges for this country. 8 whole months in court, and we were standing still. And so I hope going forward, yes, the Electoral Commission would improve, bring other things in, but most importantly would gain the trust and honesty of the people.
Alaji,
I have
difficulty in appreciating the points raised by my two colleagues on this platform. We have a situation where Dr. Kojo Afarijan was appointed by the President of the Republic of Ghana under his stewardship as the Electoral Commissioner. Political party in opposition won an election, he so declared. Even his life was threatened, and he said no. He stood his ground and said this political party won.
Threatened by who?
This, according to what is this, a British High Commissioner, former British High Commissioner, said that. Now, if Dr. Kojo Afarijan had been able to actually work and get a political party in opposition declared as winners, not once, at least twice they won, then certainly we have people with integrity in our country to serve the interests of the people. You cannot sit and say by virtue of individual appointed in the office to serve as an electoral commission means that that individual doesn't have what it takes to be able to say no when something is being directed at that person. I think that we must respect individuals' integrity and not to sit down and run them down. Serving public office is not a crime. It is a service. And the willingness of and the attitude we always show makes even people to give up themselves to serve the country.
You wholly disagree with Mr. Janto's submission that
completely. And I'm saying that I just cited an example
taking
of
that power of the president from appointing almost every top official.
Why? The president has never given that power to himself. He just mentioned that the power belongs to the people. It is the same people at a referendum agrees in the 1992 constitution that we should actually give that authority to the president. The president never has never assigned that authority to himself.
It won't cure, the mistrust, at least for this.
So if there is any issues to raise, let him direct that issues to the people of Ghana.
Yes,
the citizens.
And I'm doing
now,
that. That's what I'm
doing. The point I want to make here is that
that's what I'm doing.
The MPP decided to set their own questions and they ran with it. And that's my difficulty.
Okay.
What is it that the Electoral Commission is doing which is creating a mistrust? The Electoral Commission, hasn't they opened their doors? Even against their own laws? Even validation, who recommended validation? They claim the validation was recommended by a committee. And the committee chairman came out to say that it's a lie. We never recommended anything to do with any validation. They even lied that Nigeria, it happens. Nigeria actually prepared a provisional register. Now, with the provisional register, when they were preparing the final register, they asked the citizens to come with the provisional ID card given to them so that the final ID card will be issued to you. They lied and used that as a conduit to try to deceive the people of this country. And I'm saying that the MPP must not be given a room to continue with their mirage of lies that they throw at the people of this country. It's not fair. They started by accusing the Electoral Commission of actually changing results here and there in favor of the government. In 2012, were they able to prove that? And we still don't go back and ask them those questions that they've raised in terms of bringing into question the credibility of the Electoral Commission.
All right.
The institution of state must not be bastardized. It must not be bastardized because he wants Nana Addo to become a president. Let Nana Addo go into the hinterland and go into the community and campaign. Let him actually tell the people what he's capable of doing. And then resolve his crisis, the MPP crisis too. He should do that so that he present the MPP as a credible alternative.
I'm not interested in this.
I've run out of time. Just 30 seconds.
Yes. One, have you noticed what's going on with our colors and this? The NDC is abusing us.
It's on almost every newspaper.
Yes, it's amazing what they are spending.
That's the party's money.
And they are using the state crest.
Oh,
that's a good question you asked. Yeah, that's my point. But more importantly for me, today and tomorrow we're bidding
great. We should have touched on it.
Represented the Bokwa North, the people of Ghana and the Bokwa North. We're seeing him often. may he so rest in peace.
May you so rest in peace indeed, Honorable J.B. Danko-Edu. I'm grateful, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Kwame Jantra is a member of the CPP. Alhaji Halidu Haruna is aspiring member of Parliament for Ablekuma Central of the NDC, and Nana Fedra Ajima Ofuriata is the second regional vice chair of the NPP in the Eastern region. Gentlemen, I'm so grateful for your time this morning.
Thanks for having
have a
us.
good weekend, and we'll continue from here.